Buddy, Joe Kulas here once again for K Tactical. Today we're going to be going into the UTG AK-47 top receiver dust cover plate cover thingy-mabobber. Basically just going to go into the mounting part of it because it's a little unique for that first, and then after that I'm going to go into the pros and cons of it. Thanks for watching, and let's get on to that product. Alright, so basically, as anyone obviously can tell, this one has a standard, like a Picatinny type rail on the top, which allows you to mount any type of red dot, scope, you know, magnified or not. That's really the only real point for it. And kind of the cool thing about that is how it's mounted. And partially, it's not welded. They actually initially took it in here, and I'm not sure how if they kind of scoped it all out first or cut it first, but it's, you know, no, most of them that come with this are actually welded on, where this has kind of like a nut thing for mechanism. And so this is actually like tied on there. You know, I actually tried kind of like ripping it off and, you know, putting a lot of pressure on it, and it's solid, which first of all is the biggest pro about this, because you'll see a lot of these and they're just welded on. Now, for the caliber, huge mistake, obviously, right there. And also welding, I guess it's better than nothing, but, you know, it's not the first of choice. And now with that, too, I know some people that have actually took, like, not this high of a riser, but they've taken the lower ones and, you know, made the holes themselves, and then just use a screw and nut, or sorry, bolt and nut. And, you know, it's a big mistake, because see how you can see it's all kind of, you know, curved in and inside. When you have the charging handle of the AK going back, which, again, up to the side here, there we go, it's kind of a picture now. When this rips back, you know, you don't want this like ripping on anything. It's a very bad idea, especially, you know, if it were to catch, that gun could like have very big issues. And especially even if you Loctite it, you know, that stuff can still come loose, especially being that close, you know, having that much action on it. So definitely a bad idea. Don't suggest anyone doing that, you know, taking the cheap way out. Oh, I already got a top receiver cover. I buy one of those rails for like $2-3 bucks. Yeah, I definitely don't suggest that, because if you compare the rails internals, sorry, you know, on camera here, alright, you can definitely see the differences in there and how it's done. It's very, very nice, clean cut, and it actually has a purpose for how it's done. Now, besides that, the cool part about this is everyone's really, if you know, you're used to AKs, this slides in. It's actually on camera right here. Alright, and you can't really see it so much right now, but we'll get this zoomed in later. There's a little area that goes down. Actually, you can do this in camera. It goes down, and then you put, you know, you pretty much slam down. Alright, now the cool thing about this is it's made so it works the same way, but then it has kind of this tang. I don't know if that's technically probably the right term for it, but a tang that interacts with the front sight post, so you have that gap. And it's, again, if anyone takes a look at this, you'll see that there's more of like a gap going up. That's pretty much right. I've tested on a couple different AKs. It slops right on there, and then, you know, just flop down still. Alright, so that's kind of a nice perk of the mounting procedure. And then as well, in the rear, you have screws that, let me just kind of adjust the camera a little bit more. But right here in the rear of the receiver, it pushes itself against these little blocks, which I'm gonna kind of get something on here. Zoom in there. Alright. You see right here, it's pushing against that, so it's making the receiver as tight as possible. You know, I mean, it's basically, it's clamping on there better than any other is the best way to explain it. So, and you know, for installation, your standard AK plate here, just flop. And, you know, these things are a little fun to do at times. Sometimes they need a little more, not simple, okay? Same thing for this. Again, you know, it's not really hard. I don't have an Allen wrench on me, so I'm not going to do it, but I messed with it earlier, and it flops right on. And basically, you want to start with these out, and then you just left or right, doesn't matter. Right, it's getting tight. Okay, left, getting tight. Right, turn it till it's tight. Left, turn it till it's tight. and it's much tighter based than the standard cover. Only real perk about that, you might not be thinking, oh, you know, big deal, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you have a scope on there, obviously you do not want this to be moving around a lot, because that's a bad idea. You're not going to have zero worth crap. So, obviously, a bad idea. Alright, so now we have it at a little bit more of a level based. Now, basically, as you can see it, the only reason I changed camera views is because you weren't going to really see it at the angle that it's at. But as it is now, it hangs much more downward and over flopping than the standard AK cover. And you guys that have a computer screen, you can say, okay, put your hand on the screen right where it's going, and then readjust. You know, just hold it there because the camera's going to stay still. And you'll kind of see the difference. Because it's probably not that obvious looking through the camera, but in real life, it's like, wow, huge difference. And so I'm just going to flop this up, throw this guy back on, and you can see the huge difference, I'm assuming. You know, it's right there everywhere. It's a little bit looser tolerance to kind of fit the in general AK. You know, I mean, it's going for universality. I think universalness, whatever way you want to say it. That's what this is going for. Definitely perks to it. I mean, especially how it mounts. Now, besides the way of mounting, what do I necessarily think of it? It's a little debatable. I think for things like higher scopes, you know, whether it's a 3, 4, 10, you know, plus magnification, this is going to work great. Things like standard basic NC Star red dot or like a UTG red dot, not so much friendly because of the red dots, just how they work. It's going to be too off-centered probably and too hard to use properly. You'd probably want to buy a lower based one if they ever make one. Definitely suggest getting one of those for it. But for scopes that are magnified, I think, you know, sure, why not? For anything else, like cheap red dots, no. For an EOTech, it's not going to matter. But, you know, besides that, it runs about 25, 30 bucks. Comes with scope rings, at least when I bought it. And they advertised as that. I don't know if they're still doing that. But, you know, you really can't go wrong for the price. And for a cheap, good way to mount either a scope or a red dot. Again, preferably not red dots. But you really cannot go wrong with it. Now, for anyone that... I'm going to do a video review on its own. But, you know, if you're looking, if you went to this video to, like, look for it, this AK I got here actually has a K-VAR, and there's, you know, UTG makes them too, but it's like a side scope mount. This has it too, the other AK, but it allows you to have a very low profile mount very easily. So, something I'd suggest taking a look at too if you're looking for other mounting options. Otherwise, besides that, thanks for watching. Take care. Feel free to sub if you want, and have a nice day.